All I want for Christmas is resilience. Oh, guys, what's up? This is your host, Rina Singh from The Resilience Pod, the podcast helping you become resilient in a world full of disruptions. Today on the 12 Days of Resilience, it's a little bit different, and I guarantee you'll feel better after reading this or watching this or listening. Okay. Puns need to stop, especially the festive ones, because it's time to get a little bit serious, because the holidays can be a mixed bag of emotions for many. For some, though, it's the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, who doesn't love carbs, right? Others, though, it's a very difficult time, and for a whole bunch of you fabulous lot, it feels like a time of exclusion. It's safe to say it really is a mixed bag, right? However, I want to focus back on us resilience professionals, because I've got your back. I know what it's like. This year has been the peak of burnout, and it still is for so many of you. Your organization, business, whatever, is still expecting you to finish your work with limited resources and slay until the last possible day to wrap up the year's resilience requirements. Put your hands up if you agree to this and it relates. You know, the benefit is really to them, to your work. And now I'm not saying work isn't important and your job isn't important. It so is, but prioritizing yourself is also important. And actually, it should be the number one thing. Are you, during this festive time, scheduled to be on call, for example? Or are you desperately waiting for the holidays so you can finally take that break? Because I know some of you are. You know, to avoid real burnout, folks, we all need to stop seeing the holiday break as a solution, because a lot of the times, many of us will struggle to stay off. Some tips with you that work for me and my own resilience, and has done for the past few years, but also works for other people as well. And I invite you to listen or watch this and share your own tips, because they're not exclusive to this. So what is the first things? Well, the first thing is really about boundaries, isn't it? And we are just inherently terrible at this, you know. Society imposes boundaries on us, and I've talked about it a lot, and I will always go on about it. We really need to think about how we're going to present that in our work life and during the holidays as well, because yes, there's all sorts of emotion that comes with the holidays, right? So we need to reframe the situation and take control, because true resilience in terms of being personal is about being present and recognizing that our own reactions to stressful situations, be it work or in a personal life like family gatherings, for example, is key. It's acknowledging that it's normal and healthy to feel anger, frustration, while also being aware that these feelings only serve to make us feel less effective and less energetic. You know, there's a word called neuroplasticity, which essentially it determines what we continually do to shape our brains. And if we're constantly putting our attention on these patterns of thinking and behaving this way, like being stressed and frustrated and so forth and angry, then we are practicing this, and this is how we are actually training our brain to experience our emotions. So if we then flip the corner on this, because we know that there's an inherent, like, we're training our brains to work this way, then if we train our brains to reframe, so some negative thing is happening to us and I'm thinking, well, actually, is this negative? Let me just take a moment and think, okay, how can I put a positive spin on this, or reframe the situation to say, actually, someone's cancelled on a meeting. I've made all this effort to get dressed and prepare, and they've cancelled last minute. Oh, actually, I've got the time back now to for myself, and I'll use that to do something else, or I'll just sit back, have a coffee and relax. If we do this and look at our situations in this way, these can become the foundations for developing our resilience. It can also become the foundation to drain our resilience too, if we're focused on all the negativity side of it. So it's really, really interesting. A lot of this stuff, however, all relates to mindfulness, and it's not a lifestyle fad as we see a lot. And I get it, you know, sometimes it can be a bit too much when people are like, oh, we're going to do yoga and be mindful and meditation and so forth. And I personally, I struggle with it too, trying to do meditation and things like this. You know, there's no way that I am that perfect in doing all these, but it is really important and to be present and mindful of what is going on inside our mind and how we can regulate our emotions to have that resilience, not just for Christmas or whatever festive period that's coming up, but for life, and building and enhancing on that. So when we take into consideration mindfulness, we have to look at identifying what our common triggers and challenges are. So again, what is actually making me about this holiday period stressed, angry, frustrated, annoyed? Is it I'm going to eat too much food? Is it just all the toxic vibes that I'm getting? What is going on? And then we need to develop the skills to navigate our emotions. So about one of them is about reframing, right? And actually understanding that we have to also learn to recognize shame and build shame resilience skills, because sometimes we feel guilty, don't we? And we put shame on ourselves when we do things like, oh, I've had one too many minced pies, as we Brits love them, or too many carbs, and we put that shame on ourselves. And if we keep doing that, that kind of deliberates it doesn't help with our resilience. So we need to really think about, well, what are we actually shaming ourselves for? And how does this impact my own resilience? And how am I talking to myself? We need to explore how we manage expectations from ourselves and others as well. When you don't expect anything from others, you're just less disappointed. It's tricky though. It's, again, this is a key thing for mindfulness, because when there's less expectations, you're just less stressed. However, it's not easy. We all have some expectations of others, but recognizing and trying to be mindful of not having that is such a challenge, and something to be, well, mindful of, as I'm saying. Another thing which I've mentioned earlier is we need to feel more confident about setting boundaries for ourselves, because we are so inherently bad at it. So these can look like saying no. You don't have to give a reason. Self-compassion and a strong self-care practice, especially during stressful times. It's really difficult and really easy to put yourself last. Well, put yourself first, shall I say, because, oh, I just won't go to the gym, or someone's coming around, so I'll just skip my own needs. Well, no, you are important, and you will put yourself first before you put others people first. And the cliched saying, when you're on an airplane and the air masks drop off, you always put yours on first. So you cannot help others if you cannot help yourself. You need people to support you and resources. And there's plenty out there. It's having someone that you can go to talk to. For me, if we're struggling, me and my husband talk to each other, and we go into that mind frame of, are we in, and look at our reactions, and it's really difficult to do. And he said something to me recently which was quite interesting, was, are you in a powerful state, of mind or a primal state of mind? And that really struck a chord. Like, what does this mean? A powerful state of mind is about, okay, I get the situation, I'm assessing it, I can see it logically, I understand why. Okay, here is my response. A primal mindset would be emotion driven, reactive. It's not proactive like the powerful state of mind. I'm reacting with raw emotions. It's so raw that I actually can't control how I'm coming across, and I'm angry and I'm frustrated. Then actually I might regret it after I've acted in that way. And it's such a hard thing to practice. There's been a few times actually we've been talking to each other, and you know, if you guys, any of you are in a relationship and you get into arguments for little things, and we've started saying to each other, oh, is that a primal response or a powerful response? And actually it helps, it really does help you take a step back and wonder, okay, am I just being completely irrational or not? I'm not saying this is a way to dismiss your feelings, but it's a strong, powerful way to help you be mindful and reframe. And reframing is all about resilience as well, especially personal. Look, I get it. Holidays can be really stressful, and you can create an action plan and a checklist of how you're going to manage it, but essentially you don't need to go into all those crazy checkbox tick lists thing as another thing for you to do. All I'm saying is think about what might be your triggers and think about them hard and develop that awareness, because to cultivate more resilience within ourselves, because we all have it, we have to be aware of it, and mindfulness is the first step towards doing that. So folks, whatever you are doing this holiday season, I wish you nothing but the best. A stress-free, resilient, mindful break, and hopefully you'll feel that you have been energized. The 12 days have given you that boost of energy and you're loving it. And if not, that's okay. But at least this will be a start to helping you change the way you look at things, if not anything else. So until the new year, which is not that long away, have a fabulous, fabulous time. This is me, your host, Rina, signing out. Until next time, keep on investing in your resilience.